Hey, I am Emma and welcome to the channel. Today I want to share 5 easy DIY ideas based on the Amazing Digital Circus. So, let's go! Paper angle shelf decor. For this I just measured my shelf, then taking some red paper I drew a squiggly line, adding a little loop. I needed 2 of these ribbon pieces for my shelf. After cutting them out, I just glued it together and cleaned up the edges, and that's it for the main ribbon. Then I just took some leftover paper and drew 4 ribbon ends for Gangle's hands and feet. Cut them out and put them to the side. Taking some white paper, I folded it in half and drew a mask shape. I only made 2 and decided to make the sad Gangle mask and the one from Spudsy's episode. Then I just used some blue tack to glue the pieces onto my shelf. I just wish I added more loops to the main ribbon. And there it is! The Jax sensor bar. I already posted a short video for the cane one and someone mentioned the Jax one in the comments, so I just had to make it. I started off with some black paper and cut out a wonky rectangle out of it. I wanted it to be similar in size to the cane sensor I made, so I used it as a reference. Then I glued it on a piece of white paper and cut it out once again, leaving a little outline. Next, I just cut out the colorful symbols and put them aside. I took a screenshot from the episode and traced Jax's head on purple paper and his features on yellow paper. After this, I just outlined everything with a black marker and cut it out, leaving the black outline. All that's left is assembling. Now, if Kinger is your favorite character, raise your hand because we are making a Kinger figurine. I decided to use air dry clay for this. For air dry clay, I recommend getting some water. I also used a toothpick and a paintbrush and made some slip as well. Slip is pretty much glue for air dry clay. You squish some clay with water until it's a goopy consistency and there's your glue. I started off by getting a big piece of clay and rolling it into a ball, and then I rolled it into a cylinder. And of course, I had to make Kinger snatch. When I was happy with the body shape, I made a little indent on top where his head will be. Then I took a smaller piece of clay and turned it into this flat waffle cone shape for the head and added a little line on the bottom. When you put things together with air dry clay, it holds better if you scratch the surface a little and add some slip. Then I just made a little cross part on his head. Using a wet paintbrush to smooth out small details and get rid of extra slip was a lifesaver. After putting his head and body together, I just made a fluff and blended everything with the back of my paintbrush and took him to dry. Don't forget to clean your surface and store your clay. I usually put my clay back into the packaging, add a wet paper towel, fold it up and put it into a Ziploc bag. When he dries, all that is left is painting and sanding if you want. But I hate sanding, so I'ma skip it. And here's Kinger all done. He's such a cutie. Sun and moon stickers. I used colored paper, but you could use pencils or markers, of course. And for the sticker part, you'll need some clear tape and baking paper. For the sun, I just made a yellow circle, cut it out and glued it onto a piece of orange paper. Then I sketched out the sun rays and cut it out. After, I just drew the face and the sun is done. For the moon, I just cut out the shape and drew the face. Now, taking a piece of baking paper, I put a layer of clear tape, then put the sun on top of it and added another layer of tape on top of the sun and cut it out. Oh, I also made Gainsby. These are very inspired by this picture on Pinterest, so of course I had to put these onto my makeup mirror. It's so cute. A bubble bauble. I got a few of these baubles from a craft store for around €3, and this one's really easy. I just drew a mouth shape on some white paper, cut it out, and drew some sharp teeth, starting with the middle tooth, then just cut them out and glue them onto the bauble. Starting off with the middle tooth again, so it's more centered. I left small gaps in between, then with some black paper I just cut out 2 eyes and glued them as well. And he's done. Or if you want, you could make some accessories like a top hat, or a shiv hat, or a small sensor bar, which is what I made. It was still a bit too big though, but that's okay. I used it for the prototype bubble. I just hung them up on my shelf with some string so they can float around. And now I've successfully decorated my shelf. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time. Bye!